Okay, this here is the HappyCabbie, and we're going to show you how to make a cornucopia. This is a cool centerpiece for a Thanksgiving display. And there's also a very similar design to the Santa hat. Of course, a nice thing about being a partner is I'm no longer bound by the 10-minute rule. So whereas on the Santa hat video I actually had to edit a lot of parts out, this part here we're keeping the stuff all together. Now, taking two balloons, and we're going to tie them end to end. So it's just like tying some shoelaces. And there we go. Now each of these balloons have about 5 pumps using the Qualitex red pump right there. It's actually harder to tie a knot once you do it in slow motion. And as you can see, I've already connected some others. So we're doing a 6 balloon basket right here. You can also do a 5 balloon basket. You just have to tie 3 balloons together at one end. But we're making this one slightly larger, so we're going to do 6. You can also do 7, you can do 8, you can do as many pieces as you want, but we're just going to do it 6 right here. Okay. Then what we want to do is we want to have a standard measurement. Now, one thing you want to be careful of is you don't want to measure one balloon next to the balloon that's right next to it, because then you'll have them either slowly getting larger or slowly getting smaller. Each balloon you want to independently measure. Okay, so take a bubble, you twist it, and then we take a small bubble and we twist them together. And we twist that. Now this here is a little bit more of an advanced design. Now this is not something that a beginner is going to be able to pick up right away. Not to say that a beginner can't do this, but nevertheless, you know, work on mastering the simple techniques before you get into something, you know, big and fancy like this. And then as we get into the 5th and 6th bubbles, as you can see, it gets kind of tricky. But here we just kind of run it up through there. And we lock it in place. Make sure you keep the thing in front of the camera. Yeesh. I'm a goof. Okay. Then we measure off the final little bubble right there. And we twist that off. And then it keeps hitting the camera. There's no problem. Now I could move the thing further away from the camera, but then you wouldn't really be able to see anything. I've tried several different camera angles. Yeah, this one I do find works the best. Now if you're having a lot of balloons pop on you when you do this, you want to definitely use better quality balloons. For example, if there's a lot of squeaking and stuff like that, then yeah, you need to get some better ones. The balloons here, when you're pulling them through these little sockets right here, they should just smoothly pull through with hardly any friction whatsoever. Okay, and this here, of course, is the finished result. And there is the bottom. Okay, do a final tweaking to make sure everything's going to go right. Other variations in addition to a Santa hat, this here could also be used to make a witch's hat. You know, I've done this on Halloween a couple of times. Okay, and then we're going to make a small bubble and a slightly larger bubble. So you see how that slightly larger bubble is? This is going to allow the bowl to kind of spread out. And again, we want to make sure the bubbles are uniform and exactly the same size. did on the Santa hat is we kind of we did one layer and then we just edited it out, and then the basket was completely done. And if you like, you can fast forward through this thing a little bit, but I thought it'd be a nice little treat to actually show you the entire process right here. We got a new person following me on Twitter. That's cool. Yeah, you can always sign into Twitter and you can actually not only look at my updates but also pictures of the latest balloons that I'm working on. Get a little preview of what's coming up next. There you go, there's the inside of the basket. As you can see, we have small bubble, bigger bubble. Now we're going to make an even bigger bubble. So start off with the small bubble. Now we're making the bigger bubble. And we twist those together. Make a big bubble. Make a small bubble. And we twist those together. And I keep whacking myself in the head and whacking the camera angle. But like I said, I've tried several different camera angles and testing, and this one here does work the best. Okay, so then what we do is we pull it through, and again, there should be no friction on this one. If you're getting a lot of friction, I'm using Qualitex balloons on these, and they work great. And the color that I'm using is called blush, but you can also use brown, you can use goldenrod, but I think blush works the best for the Cornucopia. Okay, so we'll have plenty of room left on the tail. And as you can see, we're just going to make bigger bubbles, and we're just going to keep continuing to make bubbles until we run out of room. You can also use this same design to make a Christmas tree. And I remember one time what I did is I took this design and I made a 6-foot tall Christmas tree. I basically made the basket, and when I ran out of room I just tied in 6 more balloons, and I kept going until the thing was like 4 feet tall. And then what I did is I added a brown stem to it, and then of course we added a little angel on top and some balloon ornaments. So it was pretty fancy. And that was back in Christmas of 2005. If I get a chance, I would love to be able to make another one, because my balloon skills have since improved. I just gotta, find a place where I can actually do that. But it takes about 7 hours to make. And although I could post a 7-hour video on YouTube, I think what I'll do is I'll possibly speed it up. Either that, or I might do it on Blog TV, something like that. You can also use these things to make the bottom of a dress. For example, one of the things I'm going to want to do is I want to do Beauty and the Beast. And this would make a beautiful bottom portion of the dress. I've already got the Cinderella and the Ariel, as well as Aladdin and Jasmine. Those balloons are done. They're just waiting to be edited. But I've almost got my Beast balloon figured out. Just tweaking the design a little bit more before I finally put it on YouTube. Okay, now as you can see, we're out of balloons. So we're just going to twist those bubbles off, and eventually we're going to cut the ends off there. So we just take one bubble and we twist it. You always want to make sure you twist it a couple times. And if you're doing this basket for the first time and it looks kind of uneven, you did several things. Number one, you want to make sure that you measure the bubbles independently. One common mistake is that you measure the bubble next to the bubble before it. And what that will do is that will make the bubbles gradually larger or gradually smaller. But if you independently measure each and every single bubble, I use basically my fingers as a measurement. Basically, I'll hold out a space of my finger, and I do that for the same one in each bubble. There's the center frame right there. And that helps to make the baskets a lot more uniform in size. Okay, and of course what we're doing here is we're tying the ends off, and eventually we're going to be actually trimming those ends off with the scissors. And speaking of scissors, there we go. And now you don't want to trim them down all the way. You still want to leave a little bit of material left over, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap those around. Like you see here, I'm going to tuck it under and through, wrap it around the pinch twist a couple of times. And that just basically helps to reinforce the pinch twist and keeps them from becoming loose or undone and stuff like that. Okay. There's an actual close-up of what I'm doing there. Okay, this here is the final product. And it just gives you an example of what it looks like on top of a dress. And another thing you can do, you can also use these things to make hats. You know, for like my Santa Claus hat, you do it out of red, then you add some white trim to it. But anyway, this here is the basket. There's the inside of it. It's kind of cool looking. Now let's go ahead and add in some fruit. Where's the fruit? Yes. We'll basically take a leftover piece of yellow, and we're going to make the beginnings of a banana. Banana. It's peanut butter jelly time. Yay! Okay. And we just kind of bend it over like that. Alright. Now we're going to make some grapes. We're going to take one bubble. We're going to take two bubbles. We're going to twist around. We're going to tuck the knot through. Then I'm going to squeeze the two bubbles and twist them in opposite directions until we have this. Now we're going to make 9 very small bubbles. And it's very important that you make small bubbles, otherwise we're going to run out of room. Now you notice that I'm only holding on to the 2 pinch twists, and I'm doing that with my pinky and my index finger. And if you actually want to see that process slowed down, I have a tutorial called How to Tie and Twist a Balloon. It shows you how to do that much more in slow motion. The reason why I'm not doing this in slow motion is because this is basically an advanced balloon, and I'm assuming that if you're doing this video, you already know the basics. But if you want to learn the basics, they're on my balloon instruction playlist. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and trim it down, wrap it through, tie it into a knot, and this is going to secure our little grapes. Wouldn't it be so nice if you could actually see what I was doing? But what I did is I just trimmed off that last bubble, tied it into a knot, wrapped it around the pinch twist. Ah, there we go, there's the balloon. Next time, keep it in front of the camera, big boy. Okay, so we twist right there. And what we do is we twist it right there. Twist it right there. And we twist it right there. Beautiful. I know what's coming next. We twist it right there. And then we twist these 2 things. And we have a nice collection of grapes. And we just stick it right in there for right now. stick the banana in, and we'll secure those things a little bit better as time goes on. Now, let's make an apple. I'm going to start off with a 321 balloon. They have the ones with the black tips at the end, and they also have currently the ones without the black tips. I'm going to go ahead and use one without the black tips, although I normally do prefer the ones with the black tips, just because I think they look more like apples. Okay, we kind of squeeze it. That forms our apple. You can also do the same thing with a 350 balloon, although it's a little bit more tricky. Just tie it into a nut, and then we just push the nut through, grab onto it with the other side, twist it around, and then to secure it, we tie it into a knot. See, that keeps the knot from undoing itself, and that gives us our nice little pumpkin. And we just kind of stick that right in there, and we'll secure it later on. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make some corn. We're going to take 2 goldenrod balloons. We're going to do this one a little bit differently than the grapes, although it's a similar design. We're just going to make 9 small bubbles. We're not going to do the pinch twist down on the bottom here, although we will have them up on the top and just not going to be on the bottom. So here we're just going to make 9 small bubbles. We're going to twist it around, tuck the knot through a couple times. We twist it right there, and then we twist it right there. Now we're going to make 9 more bubbles. And if you get enough practice, you'll be able to make the bubbles nice and small, and you'll also be able to make them, you know, at approximately the same size. Okay, so we twist that right around right there, and we twist that right there. Set that down. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and grab another goldenrod balloon. Okay, 1 and 2. Always let a little bit of air out before you tie balloons into a knot. So there we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it around the base. And that end sticking out at the end there, that will be cut off in a little bit. Then we're going to make 2 small bubbles. We're going to wrap them around the middle. And we're going to make 2 more small bubbles. And we're going to wrap it around the 2 pinch twists. Now here you want to make sure you make the bubbles not too big and not too small, but just right. That's right, just like the 3 little bears in Goldilocks. So what we're doing is we're just making 2 bubbles, wrapping around the middle, 2 bubbles, wrapping around the pinch twist, 2 bubbles, wrapping around the end. And what we want to do is we want to make, we want to cover all 4 sides. And we just keep wrapping around it until it's all done. There we go. And don't worry about how it looks right now. We'll tweak it up and make it look a little bit nicer once we're all done. Okay, then what we do is we just take a little scissors and we cut that end off right there. And what we do is we take our scissors and we cut that end off right there. We tie the 2 ends together. And there we go. Now we're going to take a green balloon. We're going to put about 3 pumps of air into it. And here we're going to make pretty close to a flower stem. Make a squeeze bubble right there. We're going to make a nice little long length. Yeah, perhaps a little bit longer. There we go. That's a good measurement. Okay, now we're going to take our nut, wrap it around, squeeze it there. that around. Squeeze it. And we're going to wrap that around. And we're going to wrap it around several times to make sure it's good in place. And then we have 2 knots on that yellow end. Each knot is going to be independently wrapped around the green to secure it in place. People always like to come talk to me, especially when the camera's rolling. And there we go. We have our little piece of corn. Okay, let's actually move some of the other fruit out of the way. Corn being the biggest piece of all. Now we're going to pull the tail. We're going to wrap it around here a couple of times. Now we're going to stick in our little piece of banana. Yep. I'm going to pull that in there. Then we're going to tie it to the green balloon. We've already attached the pumpkin and the apple to the grapes, and for that we're just going to shove it in, now lock it in nice, good and tight. And there we go, we have the cornucopia, and we do thank you guys for watching.